It begins, as it so often does, in the quietest hours of the night, when the world outside is hushed and still. The veil between reality and the subconscious thins and our minds wander to places we might not consciously choose. You find yourself in a familiar cafe, a place perhaps you frequented together, or one that simply embodies comfort and connection. You're sitting across from your ex-partner. The light is warm, casting a gentle glow on everything. Their smile is gentle, disarming even, and conversation flows easily, effortlessly. There's no conflict, no lingering resentment or unspoken grievances, just peace, a sense of calm that washes over you, hope, a fragile but persistent feeling that maybe, just maybe, things could be different, and the sense that maybe things could be repaired, that the broken pieces could somehow be put back together. Then, jarringly, the alarm rings, shattering the illusion. The cafe dissolves, the warmth fades, and the gentle smile vanishes. You're alone in bed, the breakup's weight returning, heavier now in contrast to the lightness you just experienced. This is a common, unsettling experience, a phenomenon many people face after a separation. The dream feels real, so tangibly present that it blurs the lines between what was and what could never be again. And waking up can feel like a second breakup, a fresh wave of grief washing over you. We might feel foolish, even ashamed for harboring these desires, these secret hopes, or even betrayed by our own minds for dreaming of reconciliation, for conjuring up a reality that no longer exists. Why does the mind do this, especially when we're consciously trying to move on, to build a new life? During the day, we manage, we keep busy, we distract ourselves. Work provides a sense of purpose and accomplishment. Friends offer support and laughter, a reminder that we're not alone. Distractions fill the void and keep the painful memories at bay. But at night, our emotional defenses drop, the carefully constructed walls crumble, and the subconscious takes over, unleashing a torrent of unprocessed emotions and unresolved longings. This part of us replays old scripts, casting our ex in a starring role, rewriting the ending to something more palatable. Instead of shame, approach these dreams with curiosity and compassion, recognizing them as a natural part of the healing process. They're not signs of failure or a reason to rekindle what's ended, a desperate plea from your heart. These dreams are messages from deeper parts of ourselves trying to process loss, to make sense of the pain and confusion. They're clumsy attempts at healing, not prophecies of misery, not a sign that you're destined to be unhappy forever. The pain is real, undeniably so, but so is the progress you're making, however small it may seem. These dreams are part of the healing process, however uncomfortable, however much they might sting in the morning light. With time, their power fades, the intensity diminishes, and they become less frequent, a sign that you're moving forward, slowly but surely. At the heart of dreaming about an ex lies a powerful and often underestimated force. It's not necessarily about unresolved issues or a secret desire for reconciliation. Although those can certainly play a part, it is the enduring force of attachment. This primal drive, hardwired into our very being, seeks connection and security. In relationships, especially long-term ones, our brains undergo a fascinating transformation. We literally wire ourselves to our partners. They become our safe harbor, our comfort in times of stress, our confidant in moments of vulnerability, and the person we turn to for support and understanding. Love's chemistry, the release of feel-good hormones like oxytocin and vasopressin, floods our brains, solidifying these bonds. This creates a deep sense of interdependence where our well-being becomes intertwined with that of our partner. We rely on them and they rely on us. When a breakup happens, this intricate web of connection is abruptly severed. But the brain, accustomed to the familiar patterns of the relationship, doesn't instantly adapt to this new reality. It resists the change. The attachment system, still active and yearning, continues to seek comfort and reassurance, and tragically, it seeks it from the very person who's now gone from our lives. It's a cruel paradox, a painful irony of the human condition. The source of our pain, the absence of our ex, is also the imagined solution to that pain. Early breakup often feels like withdrawal from a substance. We experience disturbed sleep, a racing heart, obsessive thoughts that intrude on our every waking moment, and a general sense of emotional chaos. Dreams in this context become the mind's ingenious way to self-soothe and cope with the loss. They offer a temporary escape, a fantasy of comfort, safety, and the familiar presence of the ex-partner. For a fleeting moment, the relentless demands of the attachment system quiet down, and in the dream we feel whole, complete and connected again. These dreams, therefore, are more like psychological pacifiers, offering temporary relief. They are not, however, blueprints for a future reunion. Consider the case of Clara, who dreamed nightly of her ex, Mark. Her dreams weren't filled with dramatic reunions or grand gestures. Instead, they focused on simple, comforting routines they used to share, like cooking dinner together or watching a movie on the couch. Her mind wasn't actively trying to solve the breakup or find a way back to Mark. It was simply recreating the lost sense of normalcy and the familiar comfort of their shared life. These dreams, in essence, echo the depth of the attachment that was formed. They are a lingering reminder of the bond, slowly fading as the brain begins to unlearn the patterns of the relationship. Experiencing these dreams isn't a sign of weakness or a lack of resolve. It's simply a reflection of the brain's slow but ultimately effective adjustment to a new reality. Over time, as the brain adapts, and new neural pathways are formed, the dreams become less frequent and less intense. The attachment loosens its grip, and the emotional intensity begins to subside. The mind is simply trying to heal, to find its way back to a state of equilibrium. And healing, though it may feel agonizingly slow at times, does indeed come, bringing with it the promise of a brighter future. Another significant reason why exes tend to haunt our dreams, often lingering in the landscapes of our subconscious, is the deep-seated need for closure that many of us carry. It's a fundamental human desire to understand and finalize chapters in our lives, especially those that were emotionally charged. Breakups are messy, often leaving things unsaid, hanging in the air like unspoken words, and a multitude of questions unanswered, creating a void that our minds try to fill. Our minds crave resolution, a sense of completion that allows us to process the experience and move on. But real life rarely provides it, often leaving us with loose ends and lingering uncertainties. Awake in our conscious state, we often suppress the urge to reach out, to seek those answers, knowing deep down that it may ultimately do more harm than good, reopening old wounds and stirring up dormant emotions. But the subconscious, that realm of dreams and hidden thoughts, isn't bound by the same constraints of logic or social rules that govern our waking hours. At night, in the theater of our minds, it stages the conversations we can't have in reality, writing missing scenes, filling in the gaps, and crafting alternative endings for our story, the narrative of our lives. In dreams, we finally say what we wish we'd said, expressing the thoughts and feelings we held back in the heat of the moment. Or perhaps we hear the apology we longed for, the words of remorse that could have eased the pain and facilitated healing. The dream offers a tantalizing fantasy of resolution, a glimpse of what could have been, but it's ultimately fleeting, a bubble that bursts upon waking. Upon waking, as reality sets in, the lack of closure often feels sharper, the contrast between the dream and the waking world highlighting the unresolved issues. Think of it as mental rehearsal, like Leo, who dreamed of calmly arguing his case to his ex, presenting his perspective with clarity and composure. He woke up lighter, a sense of relief washing over him, his mind having processed some of the pent-up anger and frustration in a safe and controlled space. These dreams, though sometimes painful, are ultimately the brain's ingenious way of working through unresolved conflict, attempting to find a path toward healing and acceptance. They're not a substitute for real closure, of course, but they can serve as a valuable tool, helping us to process our emotions and gradually move forward on our journey. The mind rehearses, rewrites, and slowly, painstakingly, lets go of the need to control the narrative. Each dream, each imaginary conversation is a small but significant step toward acceptance, toward finding peace with the past. Eventually, with time and continued processing, the need for these imaginary conversations fades, replaced by a sense of resolution and a readiness to embrace the future. There's also a scientific side to these dreams. Sleep, especially REM, is when the brain consolidates memories and processes emotions. A breakup is a massive data set, memories, feelings, routines, all needing to be sorted. The brain reviews the ex-partner file, replaying memories to reduce their emotional charge. This is emotional regulation in action. Dreams help us cope with difficult events. Over time, the emotional intensity fades and the ex becomes just another character in our dreams. Early on, dreams are raw and painful. Later, they're neutral, even mundane. This shift means the brain is healing, filing away the past. Dreaming of an ex isn't a sign of longing, but of progress. The brain is doing its nightly housekeeping, helping us move on. Eventually, the ex's presence in dreams loses its sting. The memories are archived and we wake up lighter. Healing happens one dream at a time. Humans are creatures of habit, and relationships become part of our daily routines. After a breakup, those routines are disrupted, but the brain's old pathways linger. At night, when conscious control is low, the brain runs its old programs, sometimes starring your ex. Dreaming of an ex can be mental muscle memory, not unresolved love. It's like reaching for a coffee mug that's no longer there. Habit, not longing. You might dream of them beside you because, for so long, they were. The dream is a ghost of routine, not a message from the heart. Think of someone who's quit smoking. They might dream of cigarettes, not because they want one, but because the habit is ingrained. Similarly, dreaming of an ex reflects the role they played, not necessarily the person. The brain is slowly rewriting its internal map. These dreams fade as new habits form. The past loses its grip, and the present takes over. It's all part of the brain's adjustment. Sometimes dreams about an ex aren't about the ex at all. The mind uses familiar faces to explore current anxieties or unmet needs. If you're lonely, you might dream of past intimacy, not because you want your ex, but because you crave connection. The ex becomes a symbol for what's missing now, starting a new relationship. Anxiety dreams about your ex may reflect fears of repeating old mistakes. The ex is a stand-in for your worries, not your desires. Ask yourself, what's happening in my life right now? The dream might be pointing to a present issue, not a past one. Interpreting dreams in context can turn them from painful reminders into helpful insights. The dream becomes a guide, not a ghost. Dreams are personal and their meaning is unique to you. Don't take them literally. Look for the feelings and themes beneath the surface. Pay attention to how you feel upon waking. Longing, anger, peace. The emotion matters more than the plot. Consider the dream's narrative. Are you arguing, reconciling, reliving old memories? Each detail is a clue to your current emotional state. Keeping a dream journal can help you spot patterns and triggers. Over time, you'll see how dreams reflect your stress, loneliness, or growth. Gentle observation turns dreams from distressing to enlightening. They become tools for self-understanding. Understanding is the first step, but many want the dreams to stop. While we can't control our subconscious, we can shape our days to influence our nights. Establish a calming pre-sleep routine. Avoid triggers. Choose soothing activities. Signal to your brain that it's time for peace, not stress. Create new memories and habits to fill the void left by your ex. The more new experiences you have, the less your mind will dwell on the past. Practice mindfulness. Acknowledge thoughts of your ex, then gently redirect your focus. This isn't suppression, but training your attention. Over time, your brain learns to prioritize the present. The old script fades, and new stories take its place. You're guiding your mind toward healing. Dreaming of an ex is a normal human part of healing. These dreams are echoes from a significant chapter, not a life sentence. With time and care, they fade. Approach them with curiosity. They reveal your needs, fears, and places still healing. Let them prompt growth, not regret. Healing isn't linear. There will be setbacks and progress. The goal isn't to erase the past, but to integrate it into your story. When you wake from these dreams, be kind to yourself. The dream belongs to the night. The day is yours. New joys and adventures await. You hold the pen to your next chapter. The sun is rising. It's time to begin.